few months ago we bought new braided hoses for our propane tanks, and we're going to show you why we're not leaving a link for these below.
It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Oh, I wonder. Oh, I just wonder.
So we've been back at our home base for a few weeks, and these hoses have been working fine for over 6 months. I hope you can hear me, it's very, very windy here. So we'd had these for over 6 months, I think, probably, been fine. Weirdly, one day we parked the rig up, 2 weeks later, it hadn't moved. We hadn't been in there, we were at the house, we had family in town, and one day Natalie got home and she could hear propane leaking and smell it.
Oh, it smells nice. How did that happen? How did a braided hose break?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a hose.
GasStop works there.
Well, not really, because they didn't cut off.
Well, it doesn't cut off the slow gas because you could be using it for cooking.
Yeah, valid.
But it's when I took that off, it cut it off. So
-1 for this hose company.
how can this suddenly break? It was fine before.
Yeah.
What changed? Nothing. It hasn't moved.
It hasn't moved. It's the temperature's been pretty stable all week.
Won't be buying that hose again then?
No, we will not leave a link for that hose.
No, we will not. Not Brazen Brits approved. Okay, for those of you who don't know what GasStop is, we have done a video on this before, but basically it just connects to your propane tank and then into the feed, into your trailer, and if at any point in the trailer your propane lines, I don't know, split or a rodent chews through it or it bursts, one of the common ones are when the propane tank normally goes all the way to the back of the rig, so if you have a blowout it will generally tear apart underneath your trailer. One of those things will be the propane line, and then the propane just leaks out. So what GasStop does is it stops it from doing that. So it also has on here you have a little gauge, and it's basically you can see how much propane you have. So if you just remember where that is, check it every couple of hours. When we put new propane in or I mess about with this, I'll always come back out and check it. And then every now and then I'll come out and check to see what the levels are. So there's a level gauge on here. So I'm going to try this. I don't suggest you try this at home. It's very slim chance of anything going wrong, but I've got this right here. But in theory, I should cut this and GasStop should save the rest of our propane. So hopefully you'll hear the click. We'll see if you do. It's very windy. I hope you can hear me okay. All right, you ready? Don't do this at home. I'm going to stand back. Done. That was cool. That was quick. So the problem is, even though your your propane tank does have a regulator here, if your valve is on here, it won't do that. And it basically means if you don't have anything connected and you turn the propane on, the propane won't come out. But when you have a valve on and the pipe splits like this, propane is free to go anywhere. So that is the one main reason why we have GasStop, because I am paranoid about propane leaks. All right, so after further investigation, it's actually leaking from this seal here. I tried tightening everything up and it just wasn't great. It was this seal here. So when we were at the RV show a couple of weeks ago, they said, yeah, you have to get this crimped perfectly. So the cheaper ones, they just don't crimp them very well. So there's a certain torque setting or something, I guess, they have to crimp these up with. And so they were saying that the cheaper ones are not good. So don't scrimp and save like I did, even though these were not cheap. And I really wanted the braided ones. So anyway, they gave us, and they were very nice, thank you to, actually it was Matt from GasStop who gave me this. They gave me one of their ones, which you can see the quality of the crimp on these are very different. I don't know if you can see that on the camera.
You can indeed.
So you can tell that it's a much better quality crimp on both ends, And so we're going to install these, and there's one major reason why, especially if you have a travel trailer, why you want one of these as well. So let me go and install this. So if you didn't know, the GasStop is really easy to install. You just throw it on, twist it on better than I'm doing now. If you heard that click there, I don't know if you just heard that, that's because I had the propane on and I shouldn't have. And it cut it off, it stopped the gas. So one problem, if you have a travel trailer and you have this cover, you can see that you have to get it just right so that the cover can fit.
Lift up again. Yeah, and down.
See?
Yeah. Ooh.
So
that's tight fit.
It's a tight fit, and if you think the old one that I had, which was this, it sticks out. So when you try and put the cover on even more, this is clamped down. Maybe that's one of the reasons why it was leaking. Maybe it was our fault, but still, it probably still shouldn't do that. So here's the geniuses of GasStop, what they've made. Take this little label off. No, I won't. Do you have GasStop? Their one. How cool is that? It goes straight down, so now you can get the cover straight on without a problem, without risking of snapping anything, and it's almost in line with the tank, so there's plenty of space there. So I'm going to get this rigged up on the other side, and then I'm going to swap over the other one as well, because I have two. It's in a bag over there, and we're going to install that, and I will be very happy, and I don't have to worry about every time lifting this up and down trying to get it on. Thank you, GasStop. Genius idea, genius. So I've just installed this, one side of this on the regulator side. It's just I use a 12mm wrench spanner, call them in the UK. It's one for the list, Natalie. But I think it's actually a half, maybe a bit smaller, but it worked fine. I got the 18-inch ones. You can get shorter ones. I did the 18 because Chief from Foreverland said that he had similar, and you can curve it round much nicer, and it means that there's no kinks in it, which will obviously cause it to break down quicker. Not convinced I should have done that, but it does mean that I have more ability to spin this round, so maybe that might be nice. So I'm going to play around with this and figure out the best way of putting this on, but I prefer to have more than less. That's what she said. So I've settled on this. I've tested the cover on and off a few times. I can confirm that this end of the regulator on the GasStop connectors is 11mm. I don't know the Imperial version, but that 11mm wrench worked perfectly. So now all you have to do, once you've got the GasStop installed and these pipes in, and don't forget, if you find that these don't screw on too much, you can put some PTFE tape, that's what we call it, I can't remember, plumber's tape, around the seal. It just helps it seal in there. Mine were fine, they were working okay, but you can always do that. So then you turn the propane on, it's already on, and then you just push this a few times and it will tell you how much is in there. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to keep an eye on this. So I GasStop, I have no doubt in your product, but I am going to keep an eye on this just to make sure that the line is still here. So I can see this line is just a little bit below the top of the greens because we just had them filled. So I'm going to watch that over the next couple of days. Don't forget, if you use our code below, you get 10% off all GasStop products. In fact, everything that Diversified Power Solutions, who are pretty much GasStop, have, you can get 10% off, and also free shipping. So it's a bonus. So yeah, let's do that. I'm going to make sure this goes on. You can watch. This was a real pain before these, so you have no idea how good that feels to be able to do that. Normally I'm struggling with the cables, the tubes and everything. So quick tip, whenever you're messing about with the propane lines, they will, you know, the propane leaks out of them and it fills up with air. So if you're messing about with the lines and then you turn the propane on, or you get your tanks refilled and then try and run the fridge or the furnace or the water heater, it's trying to turn those things on with air in the line, so you'll get some weird faults like a DSI fault or something. So the best thing to do is to just come up to your stovetop, light the stovetop, and you'll see it's not working. So it's trying to ignite air, and this is what all of these appliances are doing as well. So we just let this run through a bit, let this push all the air out of the lines, and then we'll light it on here. Once it's lit on here, then you can turn on your other appliances. It's a really quick, easy tip, and I'm sure a lot of people worry about these faults that they get. That's all you need to do.
Hey!
Yay! Okay. So now the propane's gone through, I can turn everything else on. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and watch this one that we recommend you watch here. Also, don't forget to subscribe down here. And if you'd like to become a Braziere and support a couple of tits, you can join our membership program down here. And thank you to everyone listed below for your support. We really appreciate it.